Hi, and welcome back. In the previous lesson, I have introduced one measure of disproportionality, the relative reporting ratio. In this lesson, I will introduce two additional common measures of disproportionality. They might come up in textbooks or in the literature, so we thought it would be important for you to hear about them, to understand how they're computed, and also how they differ from each other. Let's reuse the database example from the previous lesson. The database contains 100 reports in total. We are interested in a specific drug and a specific adverse event. I have reorganized the database so we can highlight the reports that are important to compute the expectation. We have the reports with the drug, the reports with the event, the reports with both, and the reports with neither. We observed 3 reports with both the drug and the event. Recall that for estimating the number we would expect if the drug and the adverse event are unrelated, the relative reporting ratio used all reports in the database to compute the frequency of the adverse event. That frequency was 8%, giving an expected number of 0.8. The relative reporting ratio was thus 3 reports divided by 0.8, giving a value of 3.75. Another measure of disproportionality is the proportional reporting ratio. Like the relative reporting ratio, the proportional reporting ratio is an observed to expected ratio, but the expected number is counted differently than for the relative reporting ratio. Let me show you. In the case of the proportional reporting ratio, we only use the reports without the drug to estimate the frequency of the adverse event. And in our case, it becomes 5 divided by 90, which is about 6%. So since we have 10 reports with the drug, if the drug and the adverse event are completely unrelated, we expect to see 6% out of those 10 reports having both the drug and the event. And that is 0.6 reports. So our expectation for the proportional reporting ratio becomes 0.6. And the value becomes 3 divided by 0.6, which is 5. Yet another measure of disproportionality is the reporting odds ratio. Like its name indicates, the reporting odds ratio is a ratio of odds. The odds for the adverse event in the subset of reports having the drug divided by the odds for the event in the subset of reports not having the drug. So concretely, in our example, it becomes 3 against 7 for the reports having the drug, divided by 5 against 85 for the reports not having the drug. So the value of the reporting odds ratio is thus 7.3. At this point, you might start to worry. 3 different measures of disproportionality. What if they point to different directions? Some being above 1 while the other being below 1. Well, rest assured, it can be proven mathematically that the 3 of them always point to the same direction. Either they're all above 1 or they're all below 1. And finally, you should know that for more realistic scenarios where the drug and the adverse event represent a small portion of the database, all 3 measures of disproportionality that I have shown you will have very similar values.